Jeff Meldrum, a highly respected anthropologist from Idaho State University, led the initial probe of the evidence.
I'm very interested, too, in the pattern of the hair flow on the various contact surfaces.
I'd like to take a look at the comparative depth of all the prints to see which surfaces are imprinting deeper.
And Dr. Esteban Sarmiento from the American Museum of Natural History in New York City.
What's the material like? And finally, I'd like to collect hairs from the different areas. The surfaces that we believe belong to one might belong to more than one animal.
By world-renowned primate anatomy expert Dr. Darius Swindler.
An extra cast made of this area of the Achilles tendon.
The heel impressions in the cast are the parts that intrigue Swindler the most. It is an area of primate anatomy that he understands with authority.
Is a combination of two muscles, the gastrocnemius and the soleus. In humans, about a third of the way down the leg, they fuse together to form the tendon of Achilles that then continues on down and attaches to the back end of the heel, or the calcaneus. This is a well-pronounced, well-developed tendon of Achilles.
If this is a heel, it's pretty large, a lot larger than a human. The animal must have been heavy enough that it was able to wipe out all of the other prints that were there before it.
Dr. Sarmiento's forensic experience led him to come up with more questions than answers.
You want to see if there's more than one animal responsible for body print.
And the hair yields comparison to hairs from known animals.
They're definitely not human hair. We're going to find out who committed the crime.
Their combined expertise in primate behavior and anatomy will help in unraveling the mystery of the Skookum cast.
This big area here, it has to be an animal impression of the body. And the question now we have is, what part of the body?
Not all evidence of the Sasquatch's existence is made of plaster.
You don't see him right
Some of the
there?
most compelling evidence can be found in rare clips of film and video footage.
Oh, there he goes.
Jesus.
One such video was recorded by Lori Pate in 1996 while on a fishing trip with her family and friends in Northeast Washington. This video clip, known as the Memorial Day footage, shows a hair-covered upright figure running across a mountainside.
Okay, where the, see where the bush is? And then there's a small pine tree? And then he was right behind that small pine tree, right?
While not greatly detailed, it has certain compelling aspects to it, including the movement and the high speed at which the figure appears to move across the rugged terrain.
He's all...
Bigfoot. All on video.
The most famous piece of film footage was shot in 1967 by Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin. They recorded the footage in a remote valley in Northern California. The footage shows what appears to be a female Sasquatch retreating back into the forest. Is it a hoax or the best film evidence ever recorded? In 1994, another video camera briefly captured a similar figure in the Blue Mountains of eastern Washington state. Paul Freeman, a Forest Service employee at the time, had been noticing telltale footprints of a Sasquatch in the area. This time he had his camera ready and captured something extraordinary.
The pendular movement of the lower limbs allows us to calculate height from a frequency. So the length of legs from frequency in most mammals or most animals. When I compare this footage to the Memorial Day footage, in this case, from an estimate, you can tell that this isn't a very tall individual, maybe between 5'8", 5'9", and 6'3". The Freeman film, like all of the other films, doesn't have much resolution, but one of the things that is different is the size of the stride and also its frequency, which seems to be very slow. If you look at its head bob, it also seems to move rather slowly, and it gives you the impression that the animal is rather large. I would have to sit on the fence given the resolution. It's very difficult to prove, with certainty that this creature is real or is a man in a monkey suit. The detail just isn't there.
Some experts are up to the challenge of digging deeper for answers about these alleged Sasquatch images. Recent advances in 3D modeling and animation provide new ways of viewing and studying subjects captured with moving images.
About a couple weeks ago, I got some footage from Dr. Jeff Meldrum that he had been studying recently. He said that he was noticing some interesting gaits here on the profile of the actual creature. The actual knees kind of do this circular motion. They kind of knock inward and then they kind of walleye outward.
Ruben Steindorf of Vision Realm, an animator and expert in animating bone construction, is intrigued by this mystery. He is helping scientists reevaluate the Patterson footage to see if the stride and gait of the creature could even be accomplished by a man in a monkey suit.
Instead of using regular kinematics as I would for the regular human anatomy, I'm actually using inverse kinematics so that I can recreate the alleged Sasquatch anatomy. If the joints actually move based on my inverse kinematics, then they actually make sense in the physical world.
The next step is for Steindorf to carefully apply motion tracking to the figure, anchoring and locking the joints such as the knees and ankles.
Trying to lock to several points inside the footage here so that when I actually recreate the gait that I'm seeing on the footage, I can actually match that gait and see if it's accurate.
A time-consuming process, but one that may offer new clues as to the identity of the creature. A clue anxiously awaited by our biomechanics experts. Some of the most interesting evidence in clips of footage lies not in the film subject itself, but in the backgrounds in which they walk. Height, stride, bulk, and speed can all be measured by comparing the moving animal to fixed objects seen in the backgrounds.
If we can compare the size of the rocks and the distance between the rocks to the size of the creature, we'll be able to make an accurate comparison and determine the creature's stride and height.
The backgrounds of the Patterson and Freeman footage have changed dramatically over the years, due to encroaching forest growth or human activity. However, the site of the Memorial Day footage remains much as it did when the footage was recorded in 1996.
Boy, grab the camcorder. What kind of man can run across a hill like that?
Our goal is to determine if the creature is in fact moving at a rate of speed too fast for a human.
That's not a man.
Well, maybe it'll come back out. Looks like a Bigfoot to me.
The Memorial Day footage was shot by Laurie and Owen Pate as they vacationed in the Pacific Northwest. At first, they were unsure of what they saw.
I think we were all in denial.
What was it?
We weren't even really sure what we had seen at that point.
Owen told me to go get the movie camera. He told me that they had just seen a Bigfoot up on the hill, and I just turned the camera on and was taking a picture of it running across, and I just thought, wow.
Tom Lyons, another witness, grabbed his binoculars and got a better look at the creature running across a steep valley at a speed that seemed inhuman.
Okay, I saw it come out of the woods and start running across, and it was just far enough away where I wasn't quite sure what I was seeing, you know, only it was big and tall. And I had my binoculars in the camper. I turned around, grabbed them, and put the binoculars on it, and I saw about the last 3 seconds of it walking into the timber, and that's when my jaw dropped, and I remember just saying, that's not a man. I could see the long hair coming off the bottom of the arm. That's what really caught my eye. And then it was gone.
Seeing can be believing, but measurements will not lie. These measurements will allow an elite team of professional forensic